The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on a break!
With Nick Eatman, David Hellman, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Thursday, November 15th, 2018, season 14, episode number 81. Welcome to another edition of The Break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, talking Cowboys football for
Where's that
45
energy,
minutes.
Dave? Where's that energy?
I haven't even said anything yet. How do you know I don't have it?
Well, you just started
How
right
do you
off
know?
the bat yesterday.
How do you know?
Just making
I
sure.
got energy out the wazoo today.
I like it. I actually like this. Let's keep it going. Like, this is good.
We've done 81 of
Good.
these shows since March.
Yes.
Oof.
Yes. Since April.
April, whatever. Wow. It's a lot.
And we still got a lot to go.
Yeah,
we are only halfway through the season.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right.
That was cute.
And we haven't even talked
like
about
a married couple.
Stop it. And we haven't even talked about playoffs.
Playoffs?
Well, we can if they win this game.
Can we?
Yes.
Wow.
I was going to say that till
Okay.
Friday, but I just jumped right in with it.
Didn't we talk about them like Tuesday anyway?
They'll
Even
make
though
the
they haven't won
playoffs
this
if
game?
they win this game. That's
Wow.
That's my opinion.
Wow.
They will make the playoffs.
Just based on this one.
Yeah, this is the swing game. This is that game that they didn't win last year that Atlanta won, and it kind of propelled them. I'm not saying it's exactly the same.
Didn't we say Washington was the swing game like 3 weeks ago?
Well, you have to win that one.
Well,
I mean,
you
that's just a
absolutely
must.
have to win that
I mean, you can't.
I meant the one that they already lost.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the one they lost.
Yeah, but you also probably had the big L already written in Philadelphia, so they came back on that one. But you might have had the W on Tennessee.
You want to know what's interesting on that note? Right now, the Cowboys are 0-4 against teams with winning records. They're 4-1 against teams with losing records. 5 of their last 7 against teams with losing records.
Well,
They haven't been consistent, but it certainly lines up to where they
You know
can
what's funny is,
actually
like,
get on a roll here if they continue to do what they've been doing.
it's all
When
about.
people come up with like different facts and like stuff like that, graphics of like
You can make them. You can make stats any way you
stats.
want.
That's the
absolutely
word I was
can.
looking
You
for.
can also
stats.
say
you absolutely
this
can.
team hasn't won a game.
On the road, except for one.
No, against a team with a winning record, but I don't
You
know.
just try to find a way to make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But,
And to be honest with you, even if you go with that stat, they have to still win one. I think they still got to win at least one of those games against winning record teams, would be Washington and New Orleans. They got to beat Washington if they expect to win the division. Because if not, that means that Washington would then have a tiebreak over them in head-to-head. There's no way they get to win the division without them.
I like your chutzpah. Yeah.
This is how I see it, and
Clean that
Jason
mic.
Garrett wouldn't think this way. But you win this game to get to 5-5.
Yeah.
You got to beat the Redskins. You just have to. 6-5. Okay, 6-6. Then you got the
You
Eagles.
just jump right over that one. Let's just
They're
keep
not
going.
beating the Saints, even though I know you're saying somebody's going to beat them, and
Yeah,
I
somebody's
just noticed how close they were to being 0-2. I mean, Cleveland had them beat, but they didn't beat them. So next thing you know, they're one of the best ever. 6-6.
And they're rolling now.
They got the Eagles coming back again. I don't think that the Eagles are that good now. I really don't. I think the Cowboys got
You
to
think
win
because of
that
the
one.
injuries? I mean, I think
Yeah.
their secondary has been so decimated. I think that's why the Cowboys had the success they did.
Yes.
I'm interested to see how that works against a defense where maybe they have a secondary still intact. It's not going to be this week because, as we'll talk about with the Atlanta defense, they've got a lot of injuries themselves. But then they got to face that Eagles team again, who's done pretty well this season against the pass.
And they'll beat them.
And
7-6. They'll split those middle 2 games, even though you need to win them both. They won't. They'll be 7-7, 8-7. They'll beat the Giants 9-7. I think they'll win the NFC East with a 9-7.
You think a 9-7 record? So they're going to go 5-2 down the stretch, in your opinion?
Yep.
And I'm glad you said that because that's
That'd be
what
a heck of a run.
That's what has to happen because that's even if they win this game, I'm sitting here thinking, all right, Washington's 6-3, so
3-4.
they only
I actually
gotta-
think 10-6 is going to win this division. I really.
Yeah, I definitely 10-6.
So I think the Cowboys' shot right now is they got to win 6 of the last 7.
They have
in
to
my
win
opinion.
at least 9, if not 10. And I think we can all agree that the NFC East is not getting a wild card.
Yeah, right.
One of those is going to the NFC South, and then I would guess
NFC North?
probably the North.
But
yeah.
in that scenario that I just said, at 9-7, that means the Redskins have to go 3-4 to get to 9-7. You've tied them, but you'll definitely have a better record in the division because you'd be 5-1 in the division.
Yeah, if you
do that route.
If you go
So,
5-2.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be tough.
I mean, Tampa and Indianapolis were kind of, they're
It's amazing what going on the road and getting a win can do. Because we even
Well, it changes the conversation. It really does.
But it
100%.
doesn't. No, that opens the door for them to walk through it right here against Atlanta. You don't win this game. I don't see those scenarios. Not going to win 6 in a row. And
This
all that
conversation is pretty funny. It's funny,
Well,
but
laugh.
I mean, I am. But it's just funny listening to you guys about talking this way.
I started
It's
it.
possible. It's possible.
He's driving the car, and I just yanked it in the ditch. All right.
How many of their losses are in the NFC? Carolina, Seattle, Washington.
That's it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Because
Tennessee, Houston.
Tennessee, and Houston.
Houston, yeah.
So
That could be big.
if
You're going to split those 2 games, you better split. You better lose the Colts.
And
not
that's-
Tampa.
Well, but that's
They
the
don't-
thing is those tie breaks didn't come down when you start talking about. That's why they don't get in the wild cards because the teams that would probably be in the wild card, they've already lost to
Seattle.
Carolina. They've already lost to Seattle. Like those are teams that'll
Yep.
be right there firmly in that hunt.
I mean,
It makes it tough.
They can't lose this game and expect to realistically make the playoffs. Because I mean, it's an NFC team, puts them another game behind not only the Redskins but all the other teams fighting for a wild card. So
They gotta win this.
they got their work cut out for them.
They absolutely do. Let's go through the injury report. As you guys mentioned yesterday, there were a ton of defensive linemen that were out yesterday. Catch us up on what we know at this point about who's out and what we're thinking is the status of those guys.
It's mostly still bad. Malik Collins returned to the field, and everybody else is still out. Antoine Woods is out. Taco Charlton is out. Daniel Ross is out. And
Wait,
David
when you're
Irving.
saying out, you're not making the declaration out for the
they're
game.
out of practice today.
Gotcha. Okay,
they're
good.
out of practice
Perfect.
today.
Woods had a concussion.
Yes.
Antoine Woods.
That was
So he's in
surprising
the
when I
protocol
read
at this
that.
point, I guess.
Yeah. What?
He's
Did
in
that
the
happen
protocol,
in-
I guess, at this point. Which, yeah.
That happened in the game,
Sure.
I guess.
I hope
Yes.
so.
I never noticed. Or
It's kind of rowdy
kinda-
on those planes.
You said it was the quietest plane. Maybe he got knocked out. I mean, I don't know.
It was just a surprising injury to see on the report for me.
Yeah.
At least I wasn't expecting that.
I'm not ruling anybody out for the game, but it's Thursday, and if you haven't done something by Thursday, I fully expect that they're going to have to make a move. Call up somebody from the practice squad, probably Christian Ringo and Aziz Chatou. Brought him
Talk
up
me through what
yesterday.
they have right now at defensive tackle. If they had to play today, who is available to them?
if
Like
they-
I'm talking on the current active roster.
If they had to play today, you would guess Malik can maybe do something for you.
Crawford.
Tyrone can play defensive tackle, but Taco is also not available, so he would probably have to play some end. You got Karan Reed, and am I forgetting somebody?
Those 3 are going to have to play tackle, and your ends are going to be Armstrong, Gregory, and DeMarcus Lawrence. There's 6. That's all you got.
Yeah, so you're going to have more bodies, if nothing else, just to have bodies.
Hold out hope for Friday, maybe. If Woods can get out of the protocol, at least it's not a you don't want to make light of concussions, but it's not a physical ailment that keeps him from playing. So if he can clear the protocol, but like I said, I really think they'll have to do something with one of those defensive tackles just to have enough bodies to play.
Yeah.
And that could be a bit of a challenge, too. I mean, you think about how this defense is played. I think the tackles are a big part of that. I think stopping the run, they've been really good. And I think they've been at times been able to get push up the middle that's affected passers. And you're talking about maybe the best passing attack, that you've seen all season.
I would say definitely.
Still have your best pass rushers, though. Your 3
but-
best pass rushers you still have intact, right?
But think about
you
that,
think?
though.
Yeah.
When you're talking about pass rushers, in my opinion, what makes pass rushers effective is when they get a push. Because otherwise, how many times do you see the defensive end going around the outside and the tackle just kind of rides them right around the quarterback because the quarterback doesn't have to come out. Like they can just step right into the pocket. So if your tackles aren't getting pushed,
Well, one of those 3 best pass rushers
is.
is a tackle, Crawford. He's going to
Yes, he
have to
is.
be pushing.
And Malik will be there. So at least you're getting 2 guys who are starters.
That's who you thought would be the starters all
right.
year.
So you got
those
starters.
4.
You just don't have anybody rotate in with them, which
Ringo.
again can be part of a challenge.
Yeah, it's really more the depth is the thing that concerns me more than not having players. We just 3 guys went down in one game 4 days ago. So.
Yeah. Connor Williams, he was limited yesterday with a knee injury. He missed the last game. What are you guys hearing about him? And what are the chances that even if he's healthy, that he does not start this week?
No chance for that because the Cowboys won't say that. He will be banged up or something. He won't be. There will be they're not going to say he's completely healthy. He will not start. Garrett's not going to say that Gary doesn't want to hurt the young guy's feelings or whatever like that. He's not going to do that. He's going to be like, we're still working through some things, and we'll see. And he wasn't quite there yet, and we're going to go with Suafilo. He played well the other night too. That's what he'll say.
And as annoying as it is when coaches lie to us, I appreciate it in this instance. I think that's the right way to play it.
I do too.
Connor Williams has played well for the most part this year. He's had his share of struggles. Xavier Suafilo handled one of the best defensive tackles they've played all year. He did it with flying colors. They played their best game on the ground. He's coming off a knee scope. There's no reason to rush him out there. See what you got.
Okay, so let me project 3 weeks from now. Let's assume that he's still sitting there and Suafilo's playing well.
If he doesn't,
you can't keep saying the injury, right?
No, and it's hey, we've seen this before.
No, what'll happen is Connor Williams will read a statement in front of all the people, and he'll say, "Listen, guys."
2 years ago today, by the way.
It was 2 years ago today.
What?
Yeah.
Really, 2 years to
Yeah.
the day?
Yeah.
Was that really a
Aw, it's so sad. Aw.
No, football is a meritocracy, as a veteran quarterback once told me.
Indeed it is.
If they go to Atlanta and just pile drive these guys and run for 200 yards, it's Suafilo's job. And
That's the way I'm looking at it.
and Connor Williams will understand that. He's been playing football his whole life. Assuming
a grown man's game.
Assuming this happens, which we got to see it. Let's be fair, but assuming that happens, it's not an indictment on Connor Williams' ability or his future. It's just these things happen in football, and he'll have 3 more years worth of opportunities to be there. It's fine.
You want some irony to this whole thing? If this goes down this way, so 13 years ago, I don't care how old you guys were, but 13 years ago, 2005.
Okay. Wasn't very long ago.
Cowboys had drafted a second-round pick in Jacob Rogers to play.
Remember that?
Play right tackle or left tackle or whatever. But before that, they had picked up a guy who had been a first-round pick, but he was kind of going through injuries and stuff like that, and they just picked him up, see if he'll be good, and then he ends up actually starting that year and then started the next 7 years because his first-round talent finally got to that level.
Indeed.
That guy was Mark Colombo, who is now the offensive line coach, to this situation as the Cowboys have a second-round pick and a former high second, which is very similar to what Colombo was drafted, if it goes down.
Funny how life works.
But Connor Williams has showed more ounce of fight in his first practice than Jacob Rogers ever showed in the 2 years that he was here. So I don't want to compare those two guys like that.
It's a great problem to have.
Connor Williams is going to play somewhere. He's something, I don't know. Boy,
I'm writing. I'm not done with it, but I'm writing about this in my column. Like I said, it's not a long-term indictment of Connor Williams. He needs more time to get ready. Again, we've seen this 3 or 4 times before already. Xavier Suafilo was the first pick of the second round. This is not some scrub. He's a talented guy. Mm-hmm. They plugged him into a line that has a lot of talent, going back to a scheme that they're familiar with. It makes sense that he would play well here. Yeah. It also makes it, well, why didn't they do this the first 7-8 weeks of the year? It's well, it also makes sense that you want the guy you spent a second round pick on to get acclimated as quickly as possible and contribute as quickly as possible. All of these things make sense. Hindsight, it can be so dangerous. It doesn't make you dumb that you tried it one way, and it doesn't make you dumb for not going back to that.
I like Suafilo, and I think that he actually will be the starter. That's what I believe. But let's not forget that Chaz Green filled in for Tyron Smith for a couple of weeks, played well. We had pretty high expectations of what he could do, and
felt great about
him.
And
it didn't really work out, obviously. So I'm just saying, let's see. So, there's a reason Houston cut Suafilo. Let's see, or no, they didn't cut him. They let him go. They just didn't.
They let him go through his contract. Tennessee cut him.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I don't know. I have this feeling about him that he's going to be pretty good.
I do too. I really do.
Great thing is we'll
find out.
I bet you $50 he starts in Atlanta, and we'll get to find out. So,
and the thing about it is I keep just going back to it wasn't just that he played well last week. It was that he played well against that guy. That matters so much in the grand scheme of all. If he plays well this weekend, I'll be like, okay, because there's not a guy that's across from him that you're like, that is a stud that he's going to have a hard time with. That's what we all thought last week going up against Fletcher Cox, and he did a very, very nice job.
Zach Martin and Tyron Smith are both back to practice too. I expect them to
Which
play.
was expected, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go ahead and take our first break. When we come back, we're going to get into Dave's scouting report. Today we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons defense. Unit that was young and and pretty good last year. I shouldn't say very good, but pretty good last year. But they've had some injuries. We'll talk about that when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for a little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Playmaker, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The Playmaker includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized Intense Therapy lip balm and a Cowboys can cooler. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word Cowboys. The Jack Black Playmaker, $10, free shipping.
While a player can look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
Back to the break.
Welcome back. It is the second segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. Let's talk some Atlanta Falcons versus the Dallas Cowboys this Sunday. Noon game. Dave, talk to us about this Atlanta Falcons defense.
Okay. They're not very good.
Oh, wow. That was fast.
30th in total yards per game, 30th against the pass, 21st against the run, and 29th in scoring. Which
I think we should just forfeit this whole game. Like, we should just say
no.
It's not gonna happen.
I mean, hey, every time I say somebody's bad, they
show up.
They show up, and every time I say somebody's good, the Cowboys dominate them.
So maybe we shouldn't do that anymore. Maybe we should just kill this whole segment.
Hey, my week would be much less stressful if I didn't have to do this, honestly. But no, I mean, to be fair to the Falcons, they're dealing with some injuries, and that's literally line one for this week for me is Deion Jones going to be back or not? He broke his foot in the season opener. He's a Pro Bowler, went to LSU. That's kind of what we do. We put out Pro Bowl players.
Claiborne.
All right, that's who's leading the NFL in pass
Oh, here
defenses?
we go.
Who's
Here
leading
we go.
Did you know that?
Here we go. No, I don't even
He's
care.
got more PBUs than anyone in football.
Okay.
Mo, baby. Mo Claiborne.
Where is he now?
He's with the Jets.
Grady Jarrett.
He's with the Jets.
That was a decade ago. I mean, we don't have to do this. Deion Jones is one of the best young linebackers in football.
Got it.
He broke his foot in the season opener. He is back on the roster. He was limited yesterday. I don't know if he's going to play. They say they're going to be cautious with him, but he is a difference maker, and I'm sure if they think he can go, they will throw him out there. He's undersized, but he's fast. He sideline to sideline speed. I don't know that he can single-handedly turn this thing around for the Falcons, but he can definitely make a difference. They also don't have Keanu Neal, which literally the middle of their defense was such a strength with Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones, and Keanu Neal, and they lost 2 of the 3 within the first 2 weeks of the season. Neal's not coming back. Jones might be back. Ironically, the guy that replaced Keanu Neal, DeMonte Kazee, is leading the league in interceptions right now. So they do have talent, but this is...
If that's the case, then why are they having such problems?
That's honestly... okay, injuries is one, but then guys that you used to be able to count on don't have it this year. I don't have a great answer for you. I mean,
their pass rusher hasn't been great, right?
Vic Beasley has fallen off the map. He's got a sack.
Wow, one more than Nick.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm talking about a guy who
We all do, actually.
led the
We're gonna talk
league,
about that.
All Pro. I think he had 16 the year the Falcons went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Just doesn't have it this year. Whether that's because he can't be double teams or
is that what he's seeing a lot of? What you saw?
No, because Takaris McKinley, who you might remember as a Cowboys target, has 6 sacks. Like he's having a great year. Yeah. So defense
Better known as tack.
Defense. What's that? Yes.
Better known as tack.
Tack. So no, I don't buy that. And Jack Crawford, who you also probably remember, is having himself a nice season. He's got 4 sacks playing defensive tackle.
He's always that
they
kind
have
of player.
3
Yeah,
former Cowboys over there.
Who's the third?
Well, I don't know who the second is for you. Terrell McClain.
Oh my god.
Oh, I forgot.
Who?
Terrell McClain.
Oh, they all.
The defensive tackle.
Yeah.
You know who's on this team?
I thought he was out of football.
Bruce
Carter. I saw that. I saw him on the injury report.
Which he's not.
You get so excited saying
I
that.
saw him on the injury report.
Yeah, I forgot about Terrell McClain. To be honest with you, he didn't.
Bruce Carter was.
No, he's not hurt. He's a rotational guy.
Bruce Carter was Jalen Smith before Jalen Smith, right?
That's what they said.
Well, he
Wait,
wasn't going.
Are you talking about before he got here? What people said about him?
No, I'm just saying he was a second round draft pick that was coming off a knee injury.
Yeah,
and that's why
he's
fell.
never as talented.
No, he wasn't.
as
He
Jalen
did.
Smith.
Funny stat about Bruce Carter.
Yeah,
he blocked 4 punts in one game in college. How about that? 4 punts in one game. I mean, double team him at some point.
Yeah, by the third or fourth one, you just literally like
4 punts.
Everybody block him.
I like Bruce.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Their pass rush is bad. They have 17 sacks as a team. That's 28th in the league, even with Tack having a night. Yeah, Beasley's not helping Tack, and your secondary is suffering for it because 2 years ago, Desmond Trufant and Robert Alford were very highly thought of. I mean, of course they were. You make a run of the Super Bowl, everybody gets inflated. But they're not. I mean, maybe it's because they don't have a pass rush. Maybe it's just because it's hard to play cornerback in the NFL, but they're not having nice seasons. Again, I mean, they're giving up 300 yards per game. And this goes, I mean, this isn't just because of who they're playing. Like Washington, who has been similarly aerially challenged like the Cowboys, they threw for 300. Granted, that's a game that they lost 38-14, so you're going to be throwing a lot more, but still hit the 300
Wait,
yard
who
mark.
lost?
The Redskins got
also.
blown out by the Falcons a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Tampa threw for 400 on them. New York threw for 400 on them.
Tampa's throwing for that much on everybody.
Oh, I know. No, New York, and that was a close
Which
game.
New York?
The Giants.
Okay.
Threw for
Well, I guess the same
372.
thing, yeah.
Even Cleveland only threw for 216, but Baker Mayfield only threw 3 incompletions in that game. He finished with a 151 rating. So I'm sure it all works in tandem. Pass rush isn't getting home, and that's hurting the secondary. But I want to see, much like the Eagles, I want to see how the Cowboys throw against these guys because they should be able to. And if Tyron Smith is in the game, which he's back at practice, so knock on wood, like I don't think Dak is going to get sacked 8 times. I would get probably 2, 3, or 4 based
Seems
on
to be what they're doing every week.
the
right?
trend. Yeah, but
Not going with 8.
I would hope not. My God,
How many times does that happen in league history? How many times does that happen?
it's not
An
the
8
it's not the
sack game?
8. It's not the 8 that jumps
Is
off
that the same
page.
guy?
It's the 6 from one guy. Because I mean, Matt
And
Stafford,
just a regular guy. This was not Reggie White.
Matt Stafford got sacked 10 times by Minnesota the other day, and Joe Flacco was sacked 11 times. No, I'm sorry, Marcus Mariota was sacked 11 times by Baltimore. So
Are sacks up this year? Because
Aikman
it
had
seems like there've been there've been a few games where you've seen a lot of sacks.
I couldn't tell you.
I just wonder if there's a trend that's starting just because there's so much passing happening around the league. Are sacks up as a result? But
I really like this. Again, famous last words. I'm sorry, but like I'm just looking. I watched 2.5 games of these guys, and like the Cowboys should be able to run. Like I think you can bulldoze these guys out of the way. Tack McKinley's a good player, but I think he's far more useful as a pass rusher at this point in his career. I don't think he's as well rounded as like a DeMarcus Lawrence that he's going to make serious hay in the run game. Grady Jarrett is a great pass rushing defensive tackle. I don't think he's like this amazing space eater.
which side is he going to be lined up on my majority of the time?
3 tech. So I mean, take your pick, but I mean,
Is this going to be a?
I would
Is
guess-
this going to be an equally challenging game
no.
for Suafilo?
no.
Close,
Grady Jarrett's a good player.
right? Not a great player.
Fletcher Cox is something else.
Right.
I mean, He's not on Aaron Donald's level. I don't think anybody is right now. But
it's kind of hard to say anybody.
Fletcher Cox is a different, and that's.
But he's probably the next closest. The other day I was talking about it, I was like, I don't know that I can think of another defensive tackle between Donald and Fletcher Cox. Like I think that's probably 1-2. I would guess.
Tampa.
McCoy.
Guy's pretty good over there.
Sue.
Is he better than? Is he better than him? Though?
I think I would probably take those two if I was starting a team.
Yeah.
Cox and Donald for sure.
If David Irving would just stay healthy or
he'd be right up
on
there.
The field,
sure,
he would be. He really would be. He's got more talent than probably some of those guys you just mentioned. He just doesn't have the consistency. He doesn't have it.
And we see it every year for those few games he plays.
Yeah.
He can be dominant. Now there's also some games we've seen where he can be absent. Like he's there, he's playing, but he's just not.
I get what you're saying,
doing
but
a whole lot.
I can't go there. I mean, we've seen flashes, and like he's had some amazing performances. He's been really impressive, but like Aaron Donald has literally destroyed everything that's been put in front of him since he was like 19.
Yeah.
I'm going back to college. He's like the most decorated player in Pitt history, which
really
one of them. He didn't win the Heisman, but he racked up every freaking thing else you can win at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
And that's not when Pitt was good, when Dorsett and Marino were there. This is doormat Pitt.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah. So, no,
Larry Fitz.
No, and if you watch him play, it's rare
Fitz
you watch a defensive tackle wreak that much havoc. But it's like Warren Sapp used to do. Like, you would just watch the defensive tackle position because you knew on every play he had the potential to do something big.
I think it'll be big. It'll be big for the Falcons if Deion Jones can come back. But another bit. Vic Beasley's having a terrible season by his standards, but Lyle Collins has struggled. He's primarily a left side guy. I'm sure Falcons talk is like, well, maybe this is a favorable matchup. Well, Lyle Collins has lost a step, so it's something to watch. But
Falcons talk.
This is his favorite. This is as good.
Better than that.
This is as good as I've felt about an opposing defense in a while. I mean, even I wasn't super impressed by Tennessee's, but they had Jarrell Casey, they had some guys there that give you pause. Whereas,
But it sounds like it's more about how they're playing than the player, because it sounds like some of these guys have been traditionally pretty good players. They're just right now not playing well for whatever reason, or not playing exceptionally as they had in the past.
They're playing horribly.
Yeah.
Across the board. And so, I fully expect, I think Su'a-Filo is going to play well. I think if the Cowboys can't run on this team, then I don't know what happened, basically. And I think that should set everything else up. Dak's not going to throw for 400 yards, but they don't want him to. But there should be plays there against these guys, bottom line.
How about this stat? This is just, I don't even know what this stat means. But penalty yards, the Cowboys have 458 penalty yards against them, 499 for the Falcons. That's about the same. Opponent penalty yards, Cowboys 339, the Falcons 646. So teams that are playing the Falcons are being penalized 646 yards. That's double what the Cowboys have.
Cowboys got to be toward the bottom of the league as far as
how many did they get last game? 0.
Big old donut.
Which is curious in and of itself.
Right.
But,
yeah.
But 646, like, what does that mean? Like a bunch of pass interference penalties?
That's probably a lot of it. I mean, think about the guys they got.
Watch.
The best part of their team, I think, is their receivers. That's where you probably got the most talent on that team. And they'll go downfield. So think about how many. I mean, that's where you can get 40, 50 yards on a penalty, right?
Because it doesn't sound like those guys are being hard to block, but they're just getting held every time.
Which that raises another key component. Go back to yesterday, red zone, Cowboys defense, Falcons offense. Like the tenor of this game can change completely if the Falcons are just zipping downfield. I mean, you get yourself in a 14-3 hole or a 21-0 hole, that changes the complexion of everything. Zeke says every week, we got to start fast. We got to start fast. That would be, I mean, I'm not expecting you to build up a huge lead against such an explosive team, but you can't afford to fall behind against that offense and let the defense change the way they play.
Take the ball?
No, but I wouldn't hate it as much as I have in other weeks.
Yeah,
I would still defer.
I would still defer
I would still defer
too, but I wouldn't hate it.
I just love the possibility of the turnaround. Like that's why I always would defer.
You
can double up points.
Exactly. It's too big of a flip to know that you're getting the ball coming out of halftime. But if they took the ball in this game, I would be like, all right, I get it.
I mean, the good part is, if you do that, then even if you're down, you got 2 opportunities right there back to back. If it all works out like that, you get 2 opportunities back to back to maybe catch up. Mm-hmm. If you're ahead, it's gravy. Like that means you got 2 opportunities to get points that puts you farther ahead before they touch the ball again. I just think that there's no other part of the game that gives you that kind of advantage than deferring.
The only thing I don't like is if teams, and I think the Cowboys have done this, when they get the ball to start the third quarter, it changes their aggressiveness and at the end of the half. Like still go down and still, 40 seconds to go. You still try to go get that field goal. Doesn't matter if you're getting the ball.
I would actually turn around and come out of halftime in no huddle. The same way, like my 2-minute drill, I would run it coming out of halftime with the adjustments that I'm going to make and the types of people, the types of matchups I want to exploit, and try to catch them off guard there and try to get that quick score. I just think there's such an opportunity there when you get the ball at the end and at the beginning of the halves.
It's your call. I mean, whoever Crawford, tails never fails.
Sorry if you already said this, Dave, and I just missed it, but how is their defense in the red zone?
Oh, crap. I don't know. I didn't look at those.
Sorry.
Numbers. I'm sorry.
I'm just curious because that is one of the things that the Cowboys offense has been struggling with.
It is a very good question, and it's my personal failure that I don't have any. I'm not being sarcastic. Like I
tell you what,
the ball.
We do this show every day, so why don't you have it for us tomorrow? We'll talk a little bit more about it.
I can probably get the answer for you by the time we get back for the next break.
We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We got our guy, Steve Buchanan from DraftKings, going to be joining us here in our third segment. Talk a little bit of fantasy football. Then we get back, and Dave will tell us a little bit more about this red zone defense. We'll do that when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It's time for Tailgate with the OtterBox boys.
OtterBox? The makers of those crazy protective phone cases?
The one and only. They're also wild about protecting parking lot parties from sad drinks. It's why they made elevation tumblers.
Rumor around the crockpot is they're made from stainless steel with a copper lining to keep temps hot or cold.
True. They even come in 7 different sizes, up to 64 ounce, the growler.
I like how OtterBox drinks. Thinks.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Check out all the colors and sizes of their elevation tumblers at otterbox.com.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Playmaker, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The Playmaker includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized Intense Therapy lip balm and a Cowboys can cooler. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word Cowboys. The Jack Black Playmaker, $10, free shipping.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Back to the break.
Welcome back. Final segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star.
We just had a conversation about Star Wars that didn't involve Kent. Kent probably could have dominated that conversation.
Kent could have been all in on that. He's definitely a Star Wars guy.
What was that about?
We were talking about the fact that they're not really in order, and that they revealed them 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. But you don't have to really.
You don't really have to watch
episodes 1, 2, and 3. I think you're good.
You
if
don't have to watch
skip
them at all,
over
yeah.
those.
We asked if she could. Basically how we started talking about this is is the fact that I didn't really like the name Falcon Talk, so I thought they will have a cover 4 over there in Atlanta where they have a kind of a younger group, millennials, and they call their show Millennial Falcons. That's what they call it. And then we asked Amber if she could name one character, and she said Darth Vader. And that's it.
Nice.
That's how it starts.
As a movie buff and a Star Wars fan, like you and I both are, I don't think you could be in a room with 3 people that know less about Star Wars than I am right now. No, you know all about Star Wars?
Nick knows. I think Nick likes it.
But okay,
I am not.
Greedo. I mean, I had him.
Derek
as a kid,
and Amber are bringing
Boba
you
Fett,
down right now, though.
I saw when I was a kid. I saw
down.
one of them, and that's about it. I can't remember much from it.
Draw characters out of my mind. I could visualize them. I can't tell you the story behind it, but I have a.
This actually,
I wish I could experience Star Wars at her age.
This is a fitting topic of conversation because it's the star, Star Wars.
Y'all gonna make me actually want to go and just kind of watch them all and
You
bang
should.
through them like one. Just put them on my
Skip the
iPad
first
and
3.
just
The
watch
most recent ones are pretty good too.
Skip the first 3. The originals are the best, and then the new ones are okay.
Okay.
The new
All
ones
right.
are pretty good.
We got our buddy Steve Buchanan from DraftKings on the line. Talk a little fantasy football with us. How you doing, Steve?
Good. And you can't top the original 3. That's where it ends for me. That's it.
There you go.
Totally agree.
So you're saying, Steve, that Jar Jar Binks is not, on your fantasy team?
Yeah, that was it for me. Jar Jar Binks gets the ultimate cut, never to be taken again.
Never add. Yeah, drop forever.
Hey, I will not ask you about kickers this week. So I won't ask you.
Know what? I don't mind a curveball every once in a while,
But I am going to ask you about a punter because Chris Jones is average. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Derek.
I did have a question for you, though. I wanted to start with a Cowboys matchup this week. Cowboys playing the Falcons. And I was looking at a guy like Austin Hooper, who he's been a pretty good tight end in fantasy throughout the year. A little bit inconsistent, but I think most tight ends, except for the top 2, can be inconsistent at times. That being said, looking at what Zach Ertz was able to do to the Cowboys last week, how effective do you think a guy like Austin Hooper will be? Not just from a fantasy standpoint, but just as a matchup for the Cowboys. How do you think they'll deal with a guy like Austin Hooper?
Yeah, Hooper has been a guy who's just been wildly inconsistent, like you said, just from the tight end position to begin with. But he's seen a ton of targets as of late. He saw 11 last week against the Browns, caught 10 of them. But the problem is that he just doesn't get utilized enough in the red zone that I'm looking at him on a more consistent basis. I mean, I feel like the Cowboys have been pretty much inconsistent with tight ends as a whole as it is. But, Hooper's been someone they've been leaning on a lot lately. But they're actually starting to remember that Julio Jones is on that team. And they're starting to go to him a little bit more in the red zone because he hasn't scored almost all season long, but he's finally scored 2 weeks in a row. So definitely don't mind Hooper, but, he's someone that can kind of sneak through the cracks there as well.
And you guys are doing your projections of each week, and you got Julio Jones there, and as a guy that hadn't been catching a lot of touchdowns until recently, like, do you think, okay, he's going to snap out of it this week, or this week he's going to snap out of it? I mean, like, how do you project a guy that has been so good for so long, but he's kind of maybe been in a touchdown slump?
I mean, it's maddening. I mean, it's absolutely maddening that by far their most talented guy on their team, and they're just not utilizing him in the red zone. What's been saving him all season long, though, is that he still gets those targets. I mean, he's averaging over 10 a game this season, but he's just getting those yards. When you look at what he's done over the past 4 weeks, he's had over 104 receiving yards in all of those games. So even though he wasn't reaching the end zone, he was still doing it from a fantasy perspective because he's utilized so much in that game. And it just feels like nobody can stop him. I mean, no matter at what juncture or what team he's facing, he still ends up getting it done. So, believe me, it was maddening for the first 8 weeks of the season where he just wasn't reaching the end zone. But the consolation prize, if you want to call it that, was he was still scoring those fantasy points and, keeping him relevant.
We got Steve Buchanan here from DraftKings talking a little fantasy football with us as we do every Thursday in the third segment. Amari Cooper, he's a guy that obviously got to the Cowboys a few weeks ago, hasn't had numbers that are off the charts, but I think he's played a really important role for this team, and you can see some of the results of having him on the field. Is he at a point yet from a fantasy standpoint that he is a guy you would start each and every week, knowing that if any receiver is going to do anything for the Cowboys, it's probably going to start with him?
Absolutely. I mean, to be totally honest, he's actually one of my favorite plays of the week. The Cowboys-Falcons game altogether is just so chock full of fantasy goodness this week, it feels like, because there's just so many good plays in there, and Cooper has to be one of them. I mean, last week the Falcons allowed the least amount of receiving yards to opposing teams, but that's because they were getting absolutely torched on the ground, because otherwise they're averaging over 170 receiving yards to opposing receivers on the season. And Cooper, how he's priced, only 5,400. This is a guy who's, been averaging just about 18 targets since he came over with the Cowboys. I mean, he's a savior for Dak Prescott, it feels like, because Prescott has just been leaning on him, and he's such a great playmaker, and it just, overall, this offense looks so much better than it has, and you guys know more than anybody how it looks now. Just even like what Zeke Elliott has been doing as of late, I think it has so much to do with just this offense just absolutely clicking right now, and this is such a great spot for them against the Falcons.
All right, Steve, I got a really general question for you. How do you weigh the talent of a player versus how favorable the matchup is? Case in point.
Yeah,
go ahead, sorry.
It definitely has to be taken into consideration, and one of the things I like to allude to is James Conner with the Steelers. He was in a matchup the other week against the Ravens where the Ravens have been one of the best run defenses in the league. So you look at that and you say, well, Conner is a talented player, but that defense is so good. In turn, Conner goes out and rushes for 107 yards, has 7 receptions on 9 targets. So for me, I like to just take a look at the whole general perspective for the defense. What have they done all season long? And I have to give it to the defense because obviously these players, obviously in different matchups every single week, and we know Conner is talented, but the matchup just didn't set up well, and then he goes and has a game like it is. So it's definitely tough. You have to pick and choose your battles here. But that was one that really stood out to me because everybody was so down on Conner 2 weeks ago because of how good the Ravens were, and then he goes out and has one of his best games of the season. So it's just so tough, really, to really distinguish between those two.
Hey, Steve, real quick before we let you get out of here, I have a personal question for my fantasy team.
Of course.
Kenny Golladay playing Carolina or Tyler Boyd at Baltimore? Which way would you go?
I'd have to go with Golladay because especially Marvin Jones didn't practice again today, so it looks like Galladay's going to be the number one guy. The problem with Boyd is that he's going up against that Ravens defense, and they've been so good. But without A.J. Green, we've only seen it for 1 week.
Yeah.
You just saw how bad that Bengals offense looks without Green. They're able to go after Boyd. They're able to go after John Ross. So Golladay potentially being the number one receiver overall. No Jones. Obviously, no more Golden Tate. You have to like Golladay in that spot.
Awesome. Love it. All right, man, we appreciate you joining us, Steve. We'll be back next Thursday. We'll have you on in our third segment again.
We'll see about that. Maybe not.
We appreciate you. That's Steve Buchanan.
Hey, Cowboys taking it down this week, too. I'm liking them.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I like the Cowboys this week. I think they're going to take down the Falcons.
All right. Awesome. That's what Dave just told us, too. So we'll see if that works.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
All right, you too. There's a snowball effect going on. Like, a lot of people
are liking the Cowboys,
considering it's a 4-5 team going on the road where they are 1-4 on the year.
Well, you know why it is. I think it's because everybody keeps looking. Everybody keeps looking at two things, and that's one of them. I think the first thing is Amari Cooper, and since Amari Cooper's been here, you've seen defenses have to loosen up a little bit, and just the threat of him being there has forced defenses to change a little bit of how they're playing. And then on top of that, last week what you saw at Suafila, you saw that offensive line for maybe the first time this season be the dominant offensive line that you expected when you first came into the year. So now people are starting to say, well, maybe the Cowboys can get rolling here.
I think it's a little bit easier than that. I think people want to believe. That's all there is to it. Because, I mean, and I'm one of them. Spoiler alert, I'm very likely going to pick the Cowboys. Like, very likely. Because I was incredibly impressed by what I saw in Philly. Yeah. But they had Amari when they sucked against Tennessee.
True. But the offensive line wasn't as good, and that's the difference. Like, when you've shored up now those two different things, that changes things in a lot of people's minds.
Can I clarify a little bit there? Hopefully Steve is still listening because it sounded like I was like, we'll see if you'll come back.
Oh, you were making a joke because they're playing on Thanksgiving.
And you didn't think about
Derek
it.
Didn't pick up on it.
No, I was forging ahead.
We'll see if we talk to him on our show on Thursday.
Because we will not.
We probably won't be doing one Thursday, but we will have Steve back the next time we do have the ability to.
We won't have a show for the next 2 Thursdays.
Well, I guess he can call on a Wednesday.
He can call on a.
You can ask Garrett
maybe a Friday
when it's going to be Thursday next week.
To answer AG's question, the Falcons are 30th in the league in red zone defense. 75% of the time, when the opposing offense gets into the red zone, they give up a touchdown. They're bad.
This is going to be a high-scoring game.
I mean, famous last words, because like every time I say something, it's the opposite. So like, get ready for the Falcons to win 23-16 or some crap. But I can't think of a reason why the Cowboys shouldn't be able to move the ball. I can't.
Agree. All right, we appreciate you guys. Jonas will be back tomorrow. We'll tell you guys what's going to happen. Dave has already given his pick, but the rest of us will give our picks, and we'll make sure we get you ready for the game. Till then, for Nick Eatman, Dave Hellman, Amber Garcia, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!